So, if you're a Christian theater kid and you've sung along to musicals like Hamilton, Heathers, or Beetlejuice, you've probably stopped and thought, should I actually be saying these lyrics? Because as a fellow theater kid at heart, I understand the feeling of loving the musical, but sometimes feeling off about what you're singing. There are songs where you take on a character's persona and you don't necessarily agree with their morals. So let's talk about it. Should Christians actually be listening to secular musicals? Should we cut it off completely, or can we still appreciate the story without compromising our faith? Because here's the gray area. Musicals can teach you powerful life lessons, but they can also make you rehearse things you don't believe. So in this video, I want to walk you through the 5 things you need to understand to actually discern musicals as a Christian. And if you don't know who I am, hi, I'm Josiah, and I loved musicals as a teenager, performing them in karaoke and in the shower. My neighbors have probably heard me belt Home from Beetlejuice one too many times, but I've also cut off secular music for almost 2 years now, and it has genuinely skyrocketed my relationship with God. So now I help you to do the same with the videos on my channel, helping you to discern your music so that it actually honors God. And because musicals are something really personal to me, we're going to talk about this topic as fleshed out as possible. We'll cover what musicals are actually doing to you, what the tension is behind the story and the song, the danger of what you repeatedly sing, how to approach musicals without compromising your values, and how to actually decide what to keep or remove. So the next time you think about pressing play, you'll know exactly what to do. Let's begin. This is what you must first understand. Musicals are highly impactful because they combine narratives, emotionality, and lyricism. And it is storytelling through repetition. Musicals don't just entertain you, they form you. Because think about it, you don't just watch a musical once and move on, if you're a theater kid, that is. You replay the songs, memorize the lyrics, and sing them out loud. So here's the part most people don't realize. Musicals are one of the only forms of media where you don't just consume the message, you participate in it. You are literally rehearsing the words, the emotions, and the perspective over and over again. And the Bible actually speaks to this. Be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Because what you repeatedly expose your mind to eventually shapes how you think. Musicals aren't just something you watch, they're something you absorb. So here's how to actually apply this. Next time you find yourself replaying a song from a musical, ask, what am I repeatedly agreeing with here? Because this isn't just about whether a musical is good or bad, it's about what it's forming in you over time. And this is where it gets tricky, because most musicals aren't made up of just one message. They're a whole story. And this actually connects to our comment of the week. Lou said, "My biggest problem with Christian music is that it doesn't talk about unique experiences like feelings." And honestly, I get that. I think that's exactly why a lot of us are drawn to musicals in the first place, because they capture real, raw human emotion in a way that feels honest. But here's the part that we miss. Emotions become holistic when you follow the entire story. Because when you zoom out, a musical can point you to something true. But when you zoom in on just one song, you might be feeding something completely different, contrary to what the takeaway was supposed to be. Take Hamilton, for example. The song Burn is full of anger, betrayal, and unforgiveness, but it's part of a bigger arc that eventually leads to reconciliation and forgiveness. But if you isolate that one song, you're not just receiving the message anymore. You're just rehearsing the emotion and feeding into something completely different from the story's actual end message. In the song, you're literally hoping that that person will burn. We have to realize that characters are not morally correct at every point of the story, and that's what makes it a story. There's change, transformation, and development, usually for the better, but individual songs don't always reflect that final message. Eliza, the same character who sings Burn, ends up forgiving Hamilton at the end of the story. So this is where people get it confused. They think the musical's moral of the story is good, so individual songs should be fine to listen to. But that's not always true. And that's why there's a shift you need to make. Don't just ask, is this musical good? Is it teaching a moral lesson? Ask, what moral am I actually feeding with this song? Does it reflect the heart of God? Because this becomes even more important when you're not just listening, but actually singing the song yourself. This is the part that honestly changed everything for me, because there were songs that I loved, singing them in the shower or in my room, fully invested, super loud might I add, because I would do it with so much passion, and that includes the song Burn, actually. But then I would catch myself mid-line and think, wait, I don't actually believe what I'm saying. And that was actually really awful of me to say. These songs were making me say things I didn't believe. Things that I didn't want to hold fast to when it actually came down to it. I don't want to wish people to burn. Hello? And there are songs where they make you take God's name in vain, or make you cuss, and even sing from a place of bitterness, even as you're trying to let go of it. And that's when I realized there is a difference between simply hearing something and declaring something. Because when you sing it, you're not just observing the emotion, you're rehearsing it. You're taking it on, and over time, what you repeatedly say, you start to normalize. If you keep saying to yourself, "Oh, I'm so stupid, I'm so dumb," you're going to internalize that. You are going to have that limiting self-belief all the time. So here's something practical you can do. Next time you're singing along to a song, pause and ask, would I actually say this in real life? What is the fruit of this phrase? Because even if the story is meaningful, you still have to decide, do I still want to keep rehearsing this and reinforcing this idea in my head? Or am I compromising on my God-given values? And does the answer to that question have to mean we have to cut off musicals completely? Hard questions like this is exactly why I'm so intentional about the kind of content I create. And in order to do so long-term, I'll need your help. Before we continue, I just want to say a quick thank you to everyone supporting this channel on Patreon. If you've been finding these videos helpful, or if you've used some of the song recommendations in your playlist now, please consider supporting this channel. These videos take many hours of research to make, listening to the music, sourcing them, compiling them, and producing the videos as well. I recently hired an editor to streamline the process and get the videos to you guys faster, but that costs money. I'm also newly married and stepping into a new season of life, so being able to support my husband while continuing this work means a lot to me. Your support genuinely makes it possible for me to keep making these videos and continue this mission of helping Christians cut off secular music in a way that's actually sustainable. And if you aren't able to support us in this way, liking, subscribing, and sharing this video already means so much. Now back to the video. So if we're trying not to reinforce things that go against our values, does that mean musicals are off limits completely? Well, for me personally, I don't think the answer is just never listen to musicals again. Because if you look at them as a whole, there are things you can learn, like redemption arcs, consequences of sin, and human brokenness. Beetlejuice as a story reminded me of the value of life and living to the fullest, not wasting time or waiting for that perfect moment. And that spoke to me at a time where I hated life and longed for death. But here's where culture gets it wrong. Culture tells you if you like it, keep it, and don't overthink it. But as Christians, we're not called to consume everything passively. We're called to be intentional about what shapes us. So this is what to change. Don't engage with musicals passively anymore. Engage with them discerningly. And this is what that can look like practically. Skipping certain parts that tempt you or idolize a sin. Remaining aware of what actually affects your heart. Like, again, in Beetlejuice, although it was my favorite musical for the lessons that I learned, I hate the parts now where they make Jesus the butt of the joke. So let this show you that your goal isn't just to enjoy a story, it's to protect your heart while engaging it. So now what I like to do, not just with musicals, but with movies too, is actually analyze the character arcs. Like, what is this story really saying about the creator's values? The character's wants and motives? How could they have made better choices or responded differently? And I know that kind of thought process isn't for everyone when they consume media, but my brain just refuses to switch off when I'm watching something. My husband can vouch for that. But yeah, that's what makes this different from just liking musicals. When you introduce active discernment into consumption, it becomes intentional, and it gives you a decision to make for God. Is it loving to the Lord as a Christian to sing this or even listen to this? And if you want a whole video on discerning individual songs specifically, where we get down to the nitty-gritty of it, I ask you 5 simple questions in this video linked in the description. But now, this is where everything we talked about comes together. Because at the end of the day, the real question was never, is this musical okay to listen to? It's, what is this doing to my relationship with God? Because when you look at everything we talked about, what you replay, sing, and focus on, it all feeds something in your heart. And here's the biggest thing most people miss. You don't drift away from God overnight. You drift through what you repeatedly consume and agree with. So here's something really simple you can actually do. Next time you're listening to a musical, pause and ask yourself, is this drawing me closer to God or deeper into an emotion? Because 2 people can listen to the same musical and have completely different convictions. So the goal isn't a rule, it's just awareness. And if you want a step-by-step way to actually walk through this, I also made a flowchart summarizing the questions to ask yourself when discerning music, and you can access that when you join my Patreon as a member. Because instead of telling you exactly what to listen to, you need to learn how to hear God for yourself. And hey, if you're starting to realize that maybe musicals don't have the best effect on you as a Christian and now you're looking for replacements, I've actually found Christian versions of musicals like Hamilton, Dear Evan Hansen, and Tick, Tick, Boom. So if you want that, be sure to check out my previous video where I give you a full rundown on them. Link in the description. So at the start of this video, you were wondering if you had to choose between loving musicals and honoring God. But now you're not just stuck guessing anymore. You understand what musicals are doing to you, how to separate the story from the song, and how to engage with it without compromising your faith. So now, instead of just reacting to musicals emotionally, you can respond with intention. You now also have a clear step-by-step way to actually apply this every time you press play. So yeah, at the end of the day, this isn't just about musicals, it's about how you allow your heart to be shaped. So if you'd like further daily reminders of that to set your minds on the things above, I also design Christian posters, which you can find on my Etsy shop. And if you do decide to get one, you can use the code 𝐿𝐺𝐸 for 10% off, and that lets me know that you came from this video. Now, until then, stay rooted in Christ, and God bless.